Hey YouTube, thanks for joining the art of prepping. We're looking at my super ultralight scout pack. This is useful for short duration scouts, hiking and trails, adventures. This backpack really is just something that stays on the ranch, if you will. It doesn't really leave the homestead. I don't have a large amount of land, but enough though that you can actually spend a few hours exploring it without any problem. Now this particular pack though is set up just for something that's typically under 4 hours of duration, mainly limited from the standpoint of actually the water that I carry. I want to keep this pack so light as possible, so even the water I'm actually kind of conserving in terms of its amount. I don't really typically put food in here. What I normally do is I hydrate really good before I leave and go on the trail or go out in the woods. And I usually have a snack before I leave as well. So there's really no reason for me to, if it's going to be within a 4-hour window, typically I don't have problems with any of that. Excuse me. So, what I do is just try to keep this as minimum as possible. The dry weight without the water in it, it does include the container, is going to be almost exactly 7 pounds. So I think that really would truly classify as an SUL, super ultralight category type pack. Now with the water, it's about, as we know, a liter is roughly around 2.2 pounds. And so you would have to say it's roughly around 9 pounds fully outfitted with the water. Still, I would say that would be pretty respectable. Depending on your definition of super ultralight and ultralight, there's like a lot of different variations and definitions, but in my book, though, I think that under 10 pounds, 10 ounces would be an extremely light pack. Under 10 pounds, this probably still would classify in my definition as a super ultralight, because I classify ultralight as a 10 pounds to 20 pounds, and then 20 to 30 pounds is considered light. And the standard would be 30 to 35 or 35 to 40 in that range. So what we have here is going to be just a generic pack, and I kind of hate to say that because I think there really was a brand. This was actually it is a brand. I just don't know what it is. This is about 8 years old, believe it or not, and I have featured this in a few videos in the background, but I never really talked about it per se. I got this at cheaperthandirt.com, cheaperthandirt.com, once again about 8 years ago, and it is for the most part a generic pack. But it's actually made okay. By no means like my Maxpedition or any of my friends' VanQuest packs, not to that level at all. It uses like 600 denier, type of nylon. It doesn't have any problems though, believe it or not. There's some awkward types of molly stitching here and paneling. There's just like a little piece here, there, and sideways over here. There's some really awkward things on this pack. It's just, there isn't what you would consider like a hydration port up here at all. There's none of that. At least I don't do, there's none of that. There is a hydration sleeve we'll go over in a minute, but this is just a very typical in a lot of ways, what you would consider like a military style urban type of assault pack. Kind of like what they would consider generically as a medium-sized urban survival or urban assault pack. And so, with that being said, though, this is a little dusty still, kind of had it around the house. Off and on through the years, I've put this through, so many different uses. First started out with a bug-out bag. And then I was like, it's not big enough. Because, even though it does look really small here, it does expand out quite a bit. I'm only loading this out at about maybe 55% or so of what it can actually hold. With that being said, though, it does hold about 28 liters, which is fairly respectable for a medium pack. It's not that large, though. And so I've moved on in terms of what kind of packs I use. The packs that have a lot more support, especially a decent waist strap. And so what I've done, though, is over the years, I kept on moving this into different uses. So it went from a bug-out bag to a get-home bag to an EDC bag to a car kit bag to going in the closet bag. And basically it just wasn't used for almost over a year. And so I've been kind of finding more uses. Whenever I get tempted to buy another pack, I go, well, heck, I have this pack sitting in there, and it's not really that bad of a pack. It's kind of what you would say not so desirable, just because it's a little bit lower quality or an average quality pack, maybe built better than the average book bag, but at the same time, it's just not the most desirable. You know, I'd prefer other colors than black and quality levels than this, but there are some features that, and it has lasted, so there's something to this that's okay. But I guess what I'm saying here is that I'm trying to justify maybe another Maxpedition pack or another Red Rock pack. I got some of those on my list, but I've been scratching them back off again. And so I have this push and pull issue, just like a lot of us do, that you get kind of caught up into the ideology of, I want that pack because, man, I love that color, or I just like the look of it. And you ask yourself, how many packs do you need? Just like there's a lot of good YouTube channels that talk about how much gear do you really need. And some of them even actually specifically say that what I just said, how many pack systems do you really need? Of course, it depends on your situation is the answer. But, when it comes to this stuff, you always want to evolve. It's a natural progression of being a human. You want better stuff over time. Unfortunately, though, it's kind of hard to justify sometimes the prices of these nicer packs. And you know what I mean. I really went kicking and screaming to get that Maxpedition Falcon 2 years ago. And while I don't really regret it per se, you could sure get quite a few things for that same amount of money. And so, especially that pack being that it's my, get home bag in the vehicle and it never goes anywhere. I never even ever use it. I'm almost like, kind of concerning maybe switching it out with a lower quality bag, maybe like this, put this back into the rotation of a get home bag, a GHB, and just start getting my Maxpedition, using it more because it can wear a lot more than this bag. But with that being said, though, when you have these really nice bags, sometimes you don't want to, carry them too much, or you don't want to put a lot of wear on them because they're so expensive, so nice, and you just kind of want them to last a long period of time, And so with that Maxpedition Falcon 2, at the rate that I'm going, it's going to last decades because it's just no use. And there's a part of me that doesn't like that, but there's also a part of me that knows it's there if I need it, and if I need to, change the roles of use, it can be done. But going back to this pack, once again, it's 7 pounds dry weight with the water. It's around 9. This is just when I go around on my property alone. I don't go off my property with this pack. It doesn't have enough capabilities, in my opinion. And but it has probably a lot more than I need capability-wise just for being around the property. It's not like I live in such a rural area that if I got lost in the woods that I would be severely in trouble. I'm not like, backed up to a forest or anything or some type of desert per se. So what you see here is really a fairly stout scout pack. It's over the top for most people. They would probably never, justify carrying this around. I just do it more for training, and because it is so lightweight, it's just not really an issue. So I guess let's get into it. But I just wanted to say that this kind of pack system or these packs, or any kind of pack that you make, it's up to you about what you think and feel comfortable of having in there. And, that kind of redundancy and capability. For me, though, it's just kind of continuing to get myself used to carrying a pack a lot. And even though there's not really any weight to speak of, it's just good to train your body and have muscle memory to be okay with the weight on your back or anything on your back or anything touching your shoulders. You'd be surprised. You can just kind of gradually work yourself into, carrying packs heavier and heavier just by getting used to them. And so, once again, this is just a basic type of medium-size assault pack. It's fairly generic in brand, about 600 denier in black. And it does have MOLLE, but once again, it's the MOLLE, as you can see here, it's just spaced out kind of awkward. And in places that are just kind of like little bunches over here on the left side, if you're looking at from the facing area, this is a Spyderco Tenacious tucked in there, just for easy access. Of course, I'm going to have my everyday carry on me, so all this is redundant, and all this is pretty much, I've almost never used almost any of this besides the water. I seriously just don't ever use it. But I'm just talking about worst case scenario. And if I'm deep in the very back of my property, for example, and I get injured, God forbid, then this could really help me out quite a bit. And if I ever had to, I could last a lot more than just 4 hours, which this kit, in my opinion, is the comfort level. Now, if it's on a cooler day and I don't need much water, because I do hydrate up a lot before I leave, then it's possible I could go a lot longer than 4 hours. I'm just trying to say, just with a nice cushion involved in that time frame. And so yeah, you could last a whole day with this, no problem. But for most people, it wouldn't be the most comfortable thing. And you'll see why here in a minute. So I got my Coleman lightweight hand saw. This is the folding saw. I've only used it a couple of times, just to clear some brush out of a trail. I kept the straps on the arms all clean and simple. I've taken off the belt strap or the waist strap, and it really just wasn't working for me. The pack is just too small, and I'm not sure if you can tell, but I'm a pretty big guy in terms of height, and man. This thing was up like above my belly button, and it just the belt was. Even though I think this is around like 18.5 inches tall, I'm a very tall person, and so this is just not going to cut it. And so I had to take that off, and I do still use though the sternum strap, but it does ride pretty freaking high up on my collarbone. I'm sorry, well that, but also my my upper part of my sternum area, the upper part of that of the rib cage, and so it's sometimes not the most comfortable, but it's okay using that sternum strap. Okay, so that's all thing I have on the outside. I know this is going to be a long-winded video, but this is just a relaxed type of dialogue type of approach. I'm not going to rush things. Sometimes I think I rush things too much. So if you're just wanting to just hear all this stuff real quick, then this is not going to happen. I'm just chilling today, and so we're just kind of we're looking at this pack. So on the outside, it's just like any other medium size assault pack. Has this typically a Y yoke type of strap that's like a cinch strap, or a compression strap. On a lot of the nicer ones, though, they have a compression strap here and there with a buckle on it. On this one, it just has one, and there's no buckle. It's just a cinch strap or a compression strap. So you can see these cheaper assault packs. They don't have all the full features. They don't have the full molly. The molly isn't even done that well. Yes, this is double stitched in most areas. There's box stitching on a lot of the areas as well. The material isn't the best, but it really isn't the worst either by any means. Now this larger front pocket down here, and the zippers are not YKK, and you'll definitely tell they're not bad or anything. It's just they're a little bit, they're not self-lubricating as the YKK zippers. They're just kind of, they work. I mean, I never really had any problems. It's just they're just a little bit more gritty, if you will. Now, of course, you get spoiled. Let's just be honest. You get spoiled when you have the good stuff. And anytime you have Maxpedition or VanQuest, you just can't hardly look at the other stuff you have and go, oh, that stuff was great. You just kind of go, oh, boy, you live and learn. Now, down here, I have my 1-inch roll of Gorilla Tape, and I love that stuff. I have 5 the small glow sticks, and you could do a lot of things with this. It's a backup light or signaling. Not that I'd probably really need any of this, just going in my own property, walking around the woods. I have a Kershaw Shuffle 2 as a backup blade to my the Spyderco Tenacious, and the one that I have on my person, which is typically the K-Bar Dozer Hunter. And then as a defensive blade, I typically have the Serrated Salt 1 in all black, the new for 2016 model. And so, I mean, I have like 4 freaking blades. Now, some people are going to say, well, you need a fixed blade, and you probably need like a Mora companion or whatever. And, I haven't had a need for that. Actually, my Spyderco Tenacious does really well, feather sticking and all kind of stuff. So, again, I got 5 of these little glow sticks. I have a big pen, and I have a notepad. And what I've done, though, is I've taken some Gorilla Tape and reinforced this this seam here. This is the only part over the 8 years that actually I overstuffed it, and I put things with clips on there, and I tore that little the seam tape right there, or whatever you call that, that actually outlines the pocket right here. I pulled it apart because if I'm looking at it, it's only 2 little threads, and it's not what you would call the most heavy-duty threads. It's not what you would call like nylon, heavy tensile strength stuff that Maxpedition uses. So there you go. There's a lot of room left in here. The whole pack has lots of room left. The whole reason of that is just to keep it lightweight. And if I find something that I want to bring back to the house, or if I have clothes, for example, because this is still the summertime. This is late summer 2016 at the time of video. I'll be able to add a jacket inside and in some of the compartments, or I can wrap the jacket over top, or on the bottom here, besides putting another tarp or a tent, I could put a jacket in here, and it actually opens up quite a bit, and you could put something quite large there. So that's why I kind of like this, and why you should consider having a pack, for example, that has a lot more extra space, is because it is more flexible for, around various seasons around the year. So let me go ahead and just set this down for a minute and pause the video. I'm going to close this pouch. As you can see, it takes like 2 hands, and I'm going to open up another pouch. Okay, so I got the upper pouch opened now and closed the lower one. It's not that the zippers are that bad. It's just they're just kind of, you can look at them. They're just kind of like a little oversized, and they're just kind of not very well refined. So you just get a little resistance. Now, in terms of this 4-in-1, this tool that I showed from Walmart, it's kind of like a binoculars, magnifier. It has your compass here, and I think that's about it. Signal mirror, or a mirror. I just had this as a redundancy. I do have, though, an actual compass, so in here. So I have 2 compasses, which is just completely overkill. I now know everywhere, every place on my property, so it's not like I can't really get lost anymore. So I really don't even need any of that. I just do it just for the heck of it. This is my Fox Ellie MX10. So it's MX10 rechargeable. I now have several of those, and so I have one in my, as you probably saw, in my EDC bag, and now one for this little scout pack, and it's awesome. I highly recommend it. You may say, well, it's rechargeable, and you can't just put like some alkaline batteries in there, so if it runs out, you're kind of screwed. True, but I top it off before I leave. Plus, I have my EDC pack, my EDC light on me, plus glow sticks, and I even have, a small light source. As you'll see, I take out my pocket organizer and actually put it in here, and I'll show you that in a moment. So it kind of keeps things out of my pockets. A little bit of lighter color paracord, and I got some darker color paracord in there. In a moment, I'll show you that. So these are just the firm grip. You can get these like at Home Depot, and they're just really light duty, kind of like mechanic style gloves. And so if you're sawing or cutting something, it kind of just keeps the abrasiveness off your fingers. Let me just pause the video and show you the next compartment. So this is the next compartment. You can see here, it's just basically the next main compartment in the middle. It's like the middle pocket, and or the third pocket, I call it. And in here, I do have quite a bit of stuff, but it's by no means really full. I just have this cinched down still. And what you see is I have an abundance of paracord, way more than you would need. This is probably several hundred feet on here. This is 550 parachute cord type 3 in olive drab with one single 3M tracer reflector. So it is reflective cord. And also, I have in here a map case, and it just slides right out, and this is really cool. So what I've done is I just put, let me see if I can get better lighting, sorry about that. And I have my Maxpedition micro pocket organizer in the map pocket, plus another pouch here, which has a Altoids 10 mini, kind of a upgraded, like a first aid boo-boo kit. And also in the front pocket here, because there's actually 2 pockets of this little pouch, is my full-size compass. But once again, this is on my property that I'm moving about. It's not going to be that, it's not going to be almost even possible for me to get lost. But once again, I just had this for kind of training purposes, and just to, maybe I'm doing a project and it's good to have a compass, and, sometimes you need to practice. I have a comb in here. It's one of those folding combs with a signal mirror. I have, this is kind of funny. I'm not sure if I've shown you this, but these are just fun. You kind of always need a pencil sharpener, not only just to make tinder and stuff, but if you have a pencil, which I don't actually have a pencil in here, but if you did, to help sharpen it. But this is my Monopoly pencil sharpener. It's the little house one. So that's fun. And also on here I have a Ranger band and a pretty good, I say over 100 feet of waxed cording thread. It's pretty heavy duty though. And then I have a lighter and a long measuring tape here and a Bear Grylls survival, those little pocket survival, priorities of survival thing, just for the heck of it. And I think I have a few other little things in here. Let me see. Oh, super glue. Oh, 2 lighters in there. And I also reinforced this seam here. I don't remember that being a problem. I think I just did it for a redundancy, so it just as a preventative nature, because some of the stitching is fairly light duty in terms of the quality of the cording, or the thread, I'm sorry, for stitching. So this is the third pocket. Let me just break away and I'll show you the last and fourth pocket. Now, as we all know, or at least those people that are into backpacks and to maybe these urban assault types of packs or tactical bags, you guys know that on this larger pouch, it actually opens up like a suitcase, kind of like like a clamshell. And these are really excellent though to kind of get into the main heart of your pack. As you can see, this is the front, and you can open it straight down. Now let's just rotate this here, just so I can show you what I have in it more clearly. And you see it's very simple here. I have a nice full-size 100% cotton shemagh, and this is in a type of coyote brown and black variation. My water bottle, this one here, of course, sometimes I switch it out with a Nalgene bottle. This is an Outdoor Products one. This is, of course, a 1 liter or 32 ounce BPA-free bottle. And I have this camouflage tarp, which I've never used. It's an 8x10, but of course that's not the actual size. And when you hem these, well, of course this one comes pre-hemmed, and of course there's rivets already on there. But it's a little bit shorter. You kind of have to subtract a few inches when they hem it. But some companies, they actually just give you the dimensions before they hem it, which I don't understand why they do that, but they do. This is really a light duty tarp though, and I picked that on purpose. I have much heavier duty stuff, but most of them are 4 to 8 millimeters, which is a lot more heavy duty. This one, it didn't say, but man, when I compared it, I would have to say it's very much like a 2 millimeter. Very lightweight, but man, it's definitely water resistant. I have tried it, and so this is a camouflage on the outside and like an olive drab, almost between an olive drab and a foliage drab, or a foliage green on the inside. So there's my shelter option. I have 2 extra socks. These are more of a synthetic blend. They have very heavy polyester content on these socks for quick drying and wicking. And as you can see here, I have a rain jacket. It's a very generic rain jacket, but has a hood and drawstrings, and I've tried it out a few times, and it's not bad. It's more like a PVC type of plastic, though. It's a little bit crinkly. Well, it makes that crinkly noise, but it's not. It's a little bit cheesy, but it's not the worst thing. Now there is a pocket here, but there's nothing in it. Actually, I may put something in there, but once again, I'm trying to keep my weight down on this. And of course, on the inside here, where that goes to the back, there is a hydration compatible compartment for a bladder. I may put my bladder in there, but once again, this is just for scouting around the property and just kind of having fun and going on nature walks. I just don't really have the need for it. The water bottle does just fine. If I ever really needed more water, I just put an extra water bottle in here. So this is just my layout here for this particular super ultralight scout pack. Hey, thanks for joining me. If you have any thoughts on this matter, I know some people are going to say, well, you should probably have a bandana and in combination with a shemagh. I mean, I do sometimes keep a bandana or a handkerchief in my pocket, so usually that's taken care of. And because this is such a short duration pack, I didn't add a full change of clothes. or anything like that. But when the weather gets a little cooler, I have my wool hats and gloves, and I'll have a nice jacket or sweater that I'll be able to put in here on the inside or tether to the outside. And I may even go so far to put maybe one more additional heavier duty tarp on the bottom of the pack and tether it there, because this 2mm deal may not just make me feel as comfortable as if I had maybe another option as well. So I may still keep this, but just add maybe a 4 or an 8mm ground cloth. So if I ever had a shelter in place, I'd have a better barrier on the ground so that so the convection issue wouldn't be such a big deal if you had to stay out for whatever reason. God forbid if I got injured and I couldn't walk, because I do have some massive, very deep sinkholes. And if I didn't see one and I stepped into one of those, you could easily break your leg. But I carry a cell phone and a whistle, and so that's not going to be like it's impossible to get maybe help. Once again, I don't live in such a rural area, though, even though it may seem like it. If I was to walk maybe more than a mile in any direction, I would definitely probably run into someone's home. So it's off the road a bit where I live, but it's not like it's so insanely rural. As you can hear gunfire. There's people who shoot a lot out here. There's a lot of people. So basically you can hear sometimes dogs, barking and stuff from my neighbors. So it's not like I'm living so far from everybody, but yet I have enough space to breathe and have privacy too, which is important. And so I hope everyone is well. And thanks for joining me. And if you have any comments, if you've even lasted this long on this video, feel free to put it down in the comment section. Thanks for liking the video, for sharing the video, and for subscribing. It's always appreciated. You guys take care.